Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. Have you ever been on a date with someone who just couldn't celebrate you? I mean, maybe you shared something that happened to you at work that was really cool, or it was a compliment that you received, or something that you were proud about, anything that was like positive about you or your day. And instead of lighting up with you, they actually shut down, divert, change the subject, or make it a subtle dig, or worse yet, they make it about them. That reaction right there is the opposite of what you want in a healthy relationship. And believe me, you can detect these things from the minute you say hello to someone, but you just might not be in tune with it. It's that jealousy, competition, or insecurity showing up instead of what is called compersion. Now, you might be asking, compersion, what is that? Now, this is a term that relationship therapist Esther Perel just highlighted in an Instagram reel that has been just totally buzzing online. And she pointed out how refreshing it was to see Travis Kelce and his brother Jason light up when talking about Taylor Swift's new record. I don't know if any of you saw that. You got to go check it out. So compersion is the joy that we feel when someone we love succeeds or is just happy, basically being thrilled for your partner instead of threatened by them. And let's face it, in dating and relationships, that's rare, but absolutely essential. Now, here's the thing. On dates, people show you which camp they fall into. But sometimes you're blind to it, especially if there's physical attraction or other things that are kind of letting you forget those red flags that everybody sees early on. And if you're attuned to it, you can pick up the signs of compersion versus jealousy pretty quickly. So for instance, do they ask follow-up questions when you talk about your passions? Do they celebrate your wins, even the small ones? And that's with genuine excitement. Or conversely, do they get quiet, dismissive, or try to one-up you with their own story? I mean, these micro moments tell you so much about whether someone has the emotional maturity to stand beside you or whether they'll end up competing with you. You know, when I work with clients, I always have them do something called data dating. That's why dating without expectation, especially if you've never done it, is so important, because you really get to see, first of all, how people show up, but more importantly, how you feel when different things happen with different people. So going back to compersion, that's the heart of compersion. And this isn't just about celebrating the big wins. It's about just it's like delight in each other's daily joys and triumphs. So today, I want to kind of dive into this concept, how it shows up in dating and how you can spot the difference between jealousy and compersion early on before you get too invested. And I'm doing this because I keep having these, free calls, which all of you are invited to, by the way. Just go to the link you see in the show notes. And as I'm unraveling all these different challenges that people are having, this is a very common theme where there's all these beautiful, warm caregivers who definitely put a lot of focus and attention on the person that they're with, and they give a good date, but then they never get anything back, especially if they get into a relationship. But here's the thing. These are the things that you need to pay attention to early on. Again, from the first time you even hug or shake hands. I want to give you an example. There was a woman that I worked with, and, before I met her, she was dating a man. And she said that, when she first met him, he was charming, he was attentive, he showered her with compliments, he did things for her. He would even buy her groceries and again, shower her with compliments. And she was interpreting that as very caring and somebody who really would show the love through these things. But every time Then later on, as she got into a relationship, she shared something positive in her life. His reactions left her feeling small all of a sudden. And when she got promoted, or like instead of celebrating, he muttered something like, "Oh, don't get too cocky. It's just a title." Those were just small examples. And I remember she was telling me she got into a new hobby and she never will forget her ex actually rolled his eyes and said, "Oh, you'll probably quit that in a month." Like these were constant things that she was hearing. And even like little sarcastic digs. Like in the beginning, she thought it was teasing and flirting and endearing. But as she got into the relationship, she realized how toxic it was. So whenever she was excited about something, he always had to just one up her with his own story, turning the spotlight back on himself. I mean, does this sound familiar? And I know a lot of you deal with people like this. And by the way, not just romantically, these could be friends of yours. This could be coworkers. Sadly, a lot of bosses fall in this category. And so back to her, I mean, she constantly felt like she was just too much or that her joy was somehow threatening. So when I started coaching with her, obviously I was telling her to not give her power away, like to not like she had to let men earn her, but she didn't understand what that meant. She was so used to just making people feel good, focusing on the guy. I mean, she gave great dates. Guys ended up loving her all the time. But so her problem wasn't that she didn't know how to flirt or socialize or give good dates. It was opposite. She almost gave too good of a date. So the moment that I remember, we were coaching at a bar, of course. We were at a bar. And I know that a lot of you are saying, but what if we don't drink and I can't go to bars and I'm too old? By the way, this is just a segue. You are not too old to sit at a hotel bar or a nice lounge and just even have like soda water. Who cares? Then the thing is just it's going to a place where there's other people, where there's warm bodies to practice with, or possible other singles that you can mingle with. Okay. So I just want to mention that, by the way, because that just got brought up. Anyway, so we were sitting there and she she sees this guy, and of course, like the minute he walked in the room, I rolled my eyes. I could smell him. I'm like, "Oh, there he is again." Just by the way he carried himself and looking around the room, I could like read the body language. And she instead perks up like a little peacock and starts peacocking. And of course, he sits down next to her and she starts giggling and flirting with him. And I could tell she was really into him. Now, I'm just listening to the whole conversation. And this whole time, he is talking about him. He's telling stories. Intermittently, he'll say, "Oh my God, I love your legs," or "Your smile is amazing." And "Oh my God, those eyes." Like he would shower her with the compliments. But in the meantime, it was just all about him, right? So he goes to the bathroom and she's just like, has this like dreamy eyed look. And she's like, "He's so cute, right? I'm doing well, right?" I said, "Can I ask you a question?" She's like, "What?" I said, "What does he know about you?" And she said, "Well, well, I mean, nothing yet, but he hasn't really asked me." I said, "That's because you're not sharing." I said, "Do me a favor. When he comes back, I want you to tell a story of something that happened to you today or at work, celebrate something that you like. Just say something about you." So he comes back, she does it, and lo and behold, as soon as she starts talking, he's nowhere. He's looking around, he's making eyes with the waitress, and then suddenly he just kind of turns the story back on him. And it was then and only then that it hit her. And she's like, "Oh my gosh." She said, "This just feels so familiar. Like this is what always happens." I said, "Yeah, because you're not showing up enough for you to even see if these guys are listening to you." So that was the start of her journey where she continued to do her data dating and just really kind of figure out what was healthy, how did she feel, what did she like, What didn't she like? She just never dated like that before because she was always focused on the other person. Well, finally, when she was ready, after she got out of kindergarten, as I say, she found somebody new, and this guy really was just so enamored with her, but not in a way of like how hot she was or things about her physically or ways of just showering her with all this like attention. He really loved all the success that she had and the stories she told about things that she was proud of. And he would even say things later on as they were dating, like, I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. And it was a night and day difference. And he didn't just do it once, he did it consistently. And that's how he showed up. And so when she told him about her promotion at work, for instance, instead of brushing it off, he would ask curious questions about what the new role would look like and even toasted her over dinner to celebrate. And when she mentioned she started taking like a pottery class, he actually encouraged her creativity and surprised her by showing up one weekend with a handmade apron that said for the artist. Like these were like these little touches that just went a long way. And in fact, she didn't even trust it at first. She almost sabotaged it until I told her, oh my God, don't you dare break up with this guy. You got to keep going. Because it was foreign to her. She didn't trust it. So, see, in the end, it wasn't about these grand gestures as ways of like proving themselves or as a manipulation. It was about the way he made her feel in all of those little moments. And she told me it was the first time she felt truly supported in a relationship instead of diminished. And for the first time, she didn't have to shrink herself or downplay her wins. She could shine fully, knowing he would be right there. Do you feel that difference? It's huge because a lot of people get enamored with a shiny object and what feels like caring, but in the end, they're just empty manipulation type of things. So, compersion isn't just something to hope for. Okay. And like, oh, that person's lucky that they found someone like my client did. It's something you practice and cultivate because the right relationship won't dim your spark, it fuels it. Now, it's so important because you can start spotting it early. And in those everyday moments when you share a win, a story, or something you're excited about, you'll save yourself from wasting time with people who can't hold space for you and move closer to the ones who can. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, all right, Kimmy, well, that's great for the people like that woman that you worked with, but maybe I just never had someone cheer me on like that. Maybe it's just not realistic to expect someone to celebrate me in those ways. Like that just doesn't happen. Or maybe you've even convinced yourself that it's normal when a partner gets competitive or dismissive. You might even see this as like teasing and flirting for all I know, because that's what you're used to. But here's the flip of it all. Those little reactions are actually huge clues. They reveal whether someone has the emotional capacity to truly be a partner or whether their insecurity is going to chip away at your joy. See, the right relationship isn't about whether there's instant chemistry or whether you share the same taste in movies. It's about whether you can be your full shining self and know that the other person won't feel threatened by it. They'll delight in it. They'll amplify it. And if this is you, you if you find yourself in relationships where there's like jealousy, competition, and that somehow have become the norm, it's not your fault, by the way. Most likely it started way before dating. If you grew up with a narcissistic parent, for instance, who made everything about them, or maybe you watched your parents model a dynamic where one person's success was met with criticism or resentment. The other one was a doormat, then of course it feels familiar. And we often unconsciously recreate what we know, even if it doesn't serve us. And the good news is, once you become aware of it, I always say the awareness piece is always the first step of change. You can start to rewrite that pattern and choose something healthier. Because remember, compersion isn't something you just wish for, you hope for, or that people get lucky with. It's something you can practice and cultivate because the right relationship won't dim your spark, it fuels it. So, this is exactly the difference I want you to start noticing when you're dating. Those little reactions, whether someone lights up with you or shuts you down, those are powerful clues. They show you whether you're with someone who has the capacity for compersion, who can truly celebrate your joy, or someone whose insecurity will turn every win into competition. And the truth is, you don't have to wait months to figure this out. You can see it on the very first date if you're really paying attention. So I want to give you kind of a quick hit list of red flags versus green flag behaviors around compersion versus jealousy that you can look for when meeting your date. So take notes and kind of review your notes before you're meeting somebody. So here's compersion at its best. So I would say these are the green flags. And overall, these show someone who are, secure, supportive, capable of celebrating with you, probably has the capability of being a good partner for you. So they light up when you share a win. We already mentioned that. They might ask follow-up questions to learn more about what excites you. They use affirming language. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow, I'm proud of you. You must be proud. Tell me more. They celebrate without turning the spotlight back on them. They mirror your excitement. You can see just even how it's written on their face. They might be smiling and nodding with you. They're leaning in, they're matching your energy. They're showing curiosity about your passions, even if it's not something that they personally care about. They care about the fact that you care. Like that's huge. And they express pride in you publicly. Like they mention your accomplishments. Like they just have this overall respect for you. Respect. Oh my God, respect is huge. I don't think it's talked about enough. And it's such a simple concept, yet I feel like people don't really look for that. So conversely, you're going to look for jealousy in action. So these would be the red flags. Okay, ready? So these are the things that show insecurity, competition, and emotional immaturity. All right, they go quiet or they change the subject when you share good news. They might minimize your accomplishment. Oh, that's not a big deal. Or, oh, lots of people do that. They might even one up you with their own story instead of celebrating yours. Like, oh, well, that reminds me when I dot, dot, dot. Or they tease you or they make sarcastic comments like digs that undercut your joy. They seem threatened by your success or independence. They turn the focus back on them quickly instead of just staying in the story, like really listening to what you have to say that you're so excited about. And they may even withhold compliments or admiration, even when it's clearly deserved. So, this is where, okay, that last one gets people really mixed up because these people in the beginning, they might shower you with compliments. So, again, like you're thinking that that's compersion, right? Like, oh my God, they really like me and they're celebrating me. But then all of the sudden, when attention is off of them, they take it away. They don't compliment or they diminish. Like that's the difference. And what you're looking for is that consistency over time. That's why it's really important to pace yourself when dating so you can see how things show up over time. And here's the empowering part. I mean, once you realize this pattern, you can start to recondition yourself. Because again, we can't change those people, but you can condition yourself because it's not just about spotting the conversion either. right? Like it's also allowing yourself to receive it when it shows up. Like, do you punt compliments when it's really given to you in a like healthy way? As I mentioned before, when you've been conditioned to expect criticism, dismissal, genuine celebration can actually feel uncomfortable. I'm sure. And if this is you, like really like pay attention to that. You might even downplay your wins or brush off compliments because you're not used to being supported. So part of your journey is practicing how to sit in that moment and let someone's pride for you just land with you, like being okay with that silence instead of punting it, instead of shrinking or deflecting it. Try saying, thank you. Gosh, that means a lot. And really breathe into it. And the more you practice receiving, the more natural it will feel to expect support. And the easier it becomes to choose partners who give it freely. Because here's the truth: when you learn to receive compersion, you reinforce to yourself that you are worthy of being celebrated. Okay. I actually wanted to do something kind of fun because a lot of my clients, will do this with me because I love giving homework. And on this podcast, I don't give a lot of homework. So I decided you can get a taste of what it's like when Kimmy gives you homework. But here's the thing, you got to do the work. So if I give this to you, that means you have to go implement it. All right. So I'm calling this a compersion check-in. Okay. So I'm just going to give you 3 steps to just start with and see if it makes a difference. So when you're dating and you're doing your data dating, share a mini win on your next date. Like even if it's someone you're just texting with, share something that's like genuinely like you're excited about. Like maybe you finished a project at work, you hit a fitness goal, you tried something new, even it could be a new dish that you made. Like it doesn't matter. It's just that personal joy. Okay. Step 2, observe their reaction. Like notice their facial expression, the tone of the voice. If it's on text, see what they text back. Do they light up or do they deflate, divert? Do they ask questions to learn more or do they pivot quickly back to themselves? All right, so you're just going to observe. Then reflect afterwards. Journal, take mental notes. Did you feel celebrated? Or were you minimized in that moment? And more importantly, and this is something that I work with people all the time on, how did their reaction make you feel? Was it bigger, smaller, the same? But but concentrate on the feelings. Were you anxious? Were you sad? Did you feel angry? Like what happened? Because my guess is if you are this type of person who's always a giver, you probably haven't paid attention to how things made you feel in that moment. All right. So try those steps. I want to hear from you. Email me, sign up for a breakthrough call. I want to see what happened in that. Here's a letter, and I had to read it as we end this episode because it was so perfect for the subject. It's from Cindy. And she said, I noticed a pattern in my relationships and people I'm attracted to. Whenever I share things about me, I don't feel like they really care. Sometimes they brush it off, sometimes they change the subject, and sometimes they make little jokes that sting. Now, here's the hard part. When someone does celebrate me, I admit I don't even know how to take it in. I either get uncomfortable or feel like I'm bragging. It almost feels foreign to have someone genuinely proud of me. How do I break this cycle? Okay, Cindy. Well, first off, if you're listening to this, I love that you are aware of this pattern. I always say the first step in creating that change is being aware of what that challenge is and how it's connected, maybe to your past or other things in your life. And as I mentioned before in this episode, you can do things that are in your power to get a different result and attract healthier people in your life. It just might feel foreign to you. And I hate to say this, but this isn't about the men. It's not about the men doing this to you. I'm sorry to say that. It is you. And as long as you continue to not celebrate you, they're not going to either. You hear that? It's super important because, again, this is where you have control. So, I want to give you a few tips that will help you shift this dynamic. And you listening, hopefully, this will help you too. First, I want you to notice those micro moments early, just like I was saying in the homework assignments. On your next date, share something you're proud of, a small win, and just pay attention how they respond. Are they mirroring your excitement or are they shutting you down? Like, really pay attention to those little clues. And then, second, reframe how you receive the praise. So, if someone celebrates you, instead of deflecting, oh, it's nothing, or oh, that little thing, just say thank you. Say thank you. That means a lot. Sit with it, breathe with it. The more you practice, the more natural it is going to feel. The third thing, and this takes a higher level. So if you haven't been in therapy or been coaching, I really encourage you to look at this. Like, separate the past conditioning from the present reality. And what I mean by that, if you grew up in an environment where your wins weren't celebrated or even punished, it makes sense that you would be uncomfortable with compersion now. But remember, your past doesn't have to dictate your present. Each time you allow yourself to receive support, you're rewriting that story. And finally, give what you want to receive. Start practicing compersion yourself. When someone shares something with you, light up, lean in, ask questions. My guess is you probably already do that. But the more you model it, the more you attract people who value it. But make sure that it's reciprocal. So, like, when you give it, make sure you get it back. But that's on you to, like, actually share something to celebrate, right? So overall, like, you really need to raise your standard. Don't settle for relationships where you have to shrink. I mean, the right partner will never feel threatened by your shine. They'll be your loudest cheerleader. And that goes for you listening as well, because you all deserve to be celebrated. And that starts with you. So here's what I want you to remember. Real love is not about dimming your light so that someone else gets to feel bigger. It's about finding the person who beams right alongside of you, just like Travis lights up for Taylor. Cheering her on with pride when she came out with her new album, like that, just like you could see the body language, you could see the way he was celebrating. Like, that's what you want. Your partner should be just as excited about your wins as you are. And that's not asking too much, or thinking it only happens to celebrities. That's the baseline for a healthy, supportive relationship. And you deserve that. Compersion isn't just something that is just this, woo woo magical thing. It's something that you can practice and cultivate, because the right relationship won't dim your spark, it fuels it. All right. So thanks for joining me today. As always, this has been the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And if you are wanting to break patterns in your dating life and want a Taylor and Travis kind of love, whether you're a fan or not, it doesn't matter. What I'm talking about here is a relationship where you celebrate each other. And if that's not happening or never have happened, hop on a private call with me to flush out what might be causing that and finding ways to attract the right partner for you. So just imagine getting some ideas, breaking that cycle you have been dealing with for so long in one call. Just click the link you see in the show notes to book it. Yes, it's me. It's not somebody else. I'd love, especially if you've been a listener for a long time, I'd love to talk to you personally and finally for you to take action in this part of your life. And remember, working on you is working on your dating life. That's all for now.